Hello, Ayize Ma'at here, and I have no idea how this video is going to go today, um, but I'm going to be open. I'm in a place of surrender, and I want to invite you to be in a place of surrender today on this Father's Day 2025. For those who have followed me for a little while, you know I am a therapist and coach, and I am the founder of BLAM, Black Love and Marriage, along with my husband, Ayize, and also I am the founder of The Art of Overcoming, and I help women to get unstuck, to uncover the patterns, to release, to purge the things that you need to get rid of so that you can become the best version of yourself, have the relationships you desire, and all that good stuff. All right, so fathers, there's so much. When I think about that topic, I have so much history there. And today I wanted to share something that has happened for me. And I'm still in awe of it. But this is the content. This is my daddy's story. I might have to do this in parts. I might have to do 2 or 3 parts. I don't know. Because I've had a story about my father, my biological father. I am going to have to do this in parts because I have many pieces of my daddy's story. I have my biological father, who is my dad, and I have my stepfather, who I've never called step anything. He is my dad, and I love them both immensely for how they have contributed to my life. But I haven't always been here. And I guess what I want to say today, I'm actually going to make this a little bit of a series. So here on Father's Day, I'm launching this into like maybe a 2 or 3 part series because I be talking, and I really have some things to share, and I don't want this to be too long. But I was born in 1977. That's the year. That is the year, and my parents were married. For 2 years before they divorced, and then commenced my on again, off again relationship with my dad. That I would say, really, as I think back to it, what I really realized is that the relationship I had was very surface. We didn't really ever truly get to know one another. I got to see aspects of him, and he got to see aspects of me in my lifetime and in his lifetime, that we were together, but never really got to see him and know him. And I don't know that he was able to for me while I was doing my thing and becoming as a young person. But thanks be to God, my story has chapters. Oh my goodness, our story has chapters, and I am going to share with you all the chapters of my awareness, the chapters of my relationship with my dad, the chapters that include and then bring in the other father that God sent to me. And I am clear that God sent me both of my daddies for me to learn the lessons that I needed to learn. And I'm going to get into it in this 2 to 3 part series. We'll see what it's going to be. Talking about my father and the impact that my relationship with my father, my stepfather, and then the father of my children has had on me as a young little baby, as a teenager and a young adult, and then a grown woman. 3 fathers I'm going to focus on in this series. And so the first thing that I will say about my childhood is that my parents, like I said, were divorced early. And so I don't really ever remember being in the house with my father. I don't remember having a father as a young kid until I, got my bonus daddy, and that's what they call him now, my bonus daddy, when I was 6 years old. And so much of my early years, I don't actually remember. And one of the things that we know in psychology, and we know through the study of memory and trauma and that kind of thing, is that we shut out a lot of stuff. People who don't have a lot of memory of their early years often have things that they've shut out due to emotional, psychological pain, whatever. But I don't have a lot of memory of my early years and of my dad particularly. But just in general. And so I'm always kind of like, well, not always, but I'm often like, I wonder what I don't remember. There's some things I probably don't want to remember, and so that's okay with me. I don't judge it. I'm just observing that about myself. But my narrative has been, as I grew up, I didn't have, and I'm calling it a narrative on purpose. My dad was not really around. He would be around sometimes for me to go over on the weekends, and other times he would be missing for a while. And I think I got to a point where I wasn't even really looking for him. But I do remember I do have some memories of some of my earliest memories of kind of waiting on him to come get me, and him not coming, him not showing up for that weekend or that pickup or what have you. I do have memories of whenever we would come back together, meaning there's been a space in time where we haven't seen each other, and then he was there, that there was never any acknowledgement of, there was never any talk about like where he had been. There was just, hey kiddo, that was what he used to say to me, hey kiddo, and then he'd rub the top of my head, which got on my last nerve. And he would, it would just be business as usual. And so I think I learned at a very young age to not honor my feelings, to not honor my questions, to not honor my hurt. And so we just kind of went on, and it was like nothing ever happened. Like, you ain't just been in and out and missing and ain't been around. So that was the early years. When I would go over there on the weekends, I was so lonely. Now I do remember this. I was so lonely, and it brings me to tears because he wasn't attentive to me. Let this be we're getting ready to go out because it's Father's Day and go hang out with my husband and our children to the park, Sequoia National Park. My husband loves to be outdoors, so we're gonna go see some trees. And so I give thanks for the experiences that my children get to have with their dad today. But when I think about my childhood and going to my father's house, I think about him sitting in front of the television. I think about him watching sports and drinking beer and calling me every so often to go get him a beer out of the fridge and bring it to him. And outside of that, when I was there, I was in my room by myself 95% of the time, or outside playing with like a next door neighbor, one of the kids. We didn't spend time together. He didn't inquire about me. He didn't say, what's going on with you? He didn't come up with things for us to go do. And every once in a while, I do remember decorating the trees and the bushes outside of our house one Christmas, and that being a really standout moment because we didn't really do things like that. But there wasn't a relationship where we were getting to know one another and where we were spending time together. We were just being in each other's presence. If any of this is stirring anything up for you in terms of your own experience, or in terms of maybe even you realizing, dang, I need to do better in terms of being in relationship with my children, not just in proximity to them, then let this settle in, and let this be a sign to do better. Or just to acknowledge your own hurt, to acknowledge your own loneliness, your own pain. And then I became a teenager. I was acting out. I was the acting out fool. It's 9 minutes now in this video. I'm only gonna go to 10 minutes, so there's gonna definitely be some parts. I was running away for a period of time. I stayed with a foster parent, not because I was in foster care, but because I kept leaving out the house, running down the road, Allentown Road in Fort Washington, Maryland, and going out with friends, skipping out. And, one of my friends in high school, she was in foster care. And so that foster mother knew that I was kind of just out here. And when I say out here, I would go to friends' houses and stay for a second, or I'd run away because I wanted to go out, and I'd be somewhere my parents didn't know where I was. And I even stayed with her for a period of time, for some weeks. Maybe it was longer, my mom might know. But I was acting out because I was in pain. And I'm going to talk more about that, the pain from an absentee father, in the next video, as I share my journey and the evolution of my relationship with my father. the impact of the relationship that I had with my father, and the impact of the relationship I didn't have with my father. And as I also share the healing that is happening right now, even after death. My father passed away 18 years ago, and there's a healing that's happening in our relationship. Oh, this is going to be good. It's going to bless you in some ways you didn't even know you need to be blessed. And I'm going to talk about the impact of my stepfather, who is my daddy, who came in and gave me so much, and also the impact of the father of my children. So stay tuned for this series. Stay tuned for the opening up of your heart and for the examination of your own father stuff, your own daddy issues, the one you have, the one you don't have, the one that's past, the one that's still here, the one you're looking at side-eyed, the father of your children you're not sure about. Let's examine it all today. And we're kicking this off on Father's Day. And I just want to give thanks. I got to end with that. I said 10 minutes, I'm about to start. Now it's at 11 minutes. But I want to be clear. I want to give thanks for fathers. I want to give thanks for my father, the one that God sent me to learn the lessons that I needed to learn and to become who I needed to become. Thank you for William Raynard Hill. I thank you, Daddy, for being my daddy. I give thanks for my stepfather, my bonus daddy, the one who came and held me down when my biological father, doing the best that he could with what he had at the time, was not able to stand in the gap. He came in and held me down. I thank you, God, for Dennis Wayne Wiley. And I thank you, God, for the father of my children, the one who came to bless me with his love and his patience as I dealt with daddy issues and tried to figure out who I was and saw in me what I couldn't even see about myself. Oh, I thank you. I thank you for Ayize Ma'at. God bless all the fathers and all of their becoming. And thank you, God, for my becoming and all of my daddies, my daddy issues, my daddy blessings. I give thanks for all of it. Peace and blessings, y'all. Stick around for part 2 coming soon. I guess I'll probably do it tomorrow. I'll probably just put it out day after day. I don't really know, but stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't already. Peace.